one, two, check one, two. How are you guys doing? It is going to be a fun one tonight. We have the first qualifying session of the season, and it's on a brand new track as well. I am just so excited that NASCAR is back, baby. If it's your first time watching, I appreciate it that you're here after qualifying's over and you're just checking to see my reaction to something. I appreciate that you're here for that too. But yeah, if you guys want to put in the chat what your predictions are for qualifying or for the weekend in general, you can go ahead and do that. And also, if you want a shot at a free raced version diecast from the 2022 Daytona 500, you can enter in a free giveaway for that on my Instagram page. And I'll put a link. There's a link to that in the description. But yeah, if you guys want to put in the chat who your picks are to win, you can go ahead and do that. How are you guys' evenings going? And there it is, the great LA Coliseum. I'm just so excited. I was watching qualifying and I felt like a kid in a candy store. But yeah, so the qualifying won't get underway till 8:30, and the order is going to be set by owners' points from the 2021 season. Kurt Busch will roll off first, but that's because that second charter for 23XI Racing wasn't even in the owner points last year, so that's why they're going first. And then it's like Corey LaJoy, the Rick Ware car, the 15 Rick Ware car, and the last car to go will be Kyle Larson. So it's going to be really interesting. I honestly don't think we'll see any times faster than the fastest times we saw in practice, but who knows? The track's not going to have as much grip in it now, I think, because in the morning, well, the practice wasn't in the morning in terms of East Coast time, but in terms of the West Coast time, which is where the track was, practice was at 9 a.m. So that the track was probably a lot cooler. There hadn't been any laps on it yet, so at first it probably wasn't as gripped up, but the track was definitely cooler in the morning, whereas now it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's definitely going to be hotter, a lot less. It's going to be more slick and have less grip. So I don't think we'll see any faster times than we saw in practice, but it will be interesting to see like how the field stacks up. If we see the 23XI cars were not that fast, specifically above Wallace. So I don't know if they just had they missed the setup for this. Obviously, they didn't really have anything they didn't really know what the setup was supposed to be like. I mean, they could take a guess, but they were really slow in practice. So we'll have to see if they can if they find pace in qualifying. But I know Bubba isn't the best flat track racer, so. But yeah, if you guys want to put in the chat who your picks are to win, you can go ahead and do that. Also, I'm just checking to make sure the mic is all set up right. Do 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 do. So yeah, guys, I think somebody who definitely has a shot at the pole, or more so the race, would be Ryan Preece as well as Landon Castle. These are guys who are more so backmarker cars, but definitely have a background in short, flat track racing, especially Ryan Preece. And I think the next gen car obviously makes the field. Well, so far it seems it makes the field a lot more even. Now, is that actually true? I'm not totally sure yet. It may just be that everybody's new to the car. It's a new track. So maybe more so raw skill is showing than the actual car. But I mean, right now, Landon Castles won the Snowball Derby, I believe. And I think Ryan Preece is a champion in the Wayland Tour series. So I don't know if he may not be a champion, but he's definitely a race winner. Like that's the series he came up in. So. But yeah, so. So yeah, guys, I think somebody I appreciate you guys giving it likes. We got 4 likes. Can we get to 10? Double digits would be nice. So yeah, here maybe I can put up the qualifying order for the race here. Maybe let's see if we can, so that way you guys can see that. You guys make that. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. Oh, here, wait, let's change it. Here now, can we go to like a full screen? But yeah, so this is kind of the qualifying order for tonight. So you can see it's Kurt Busch, Corey LaJoie, Ryan Preece, Ty Dillon, Cody Ware, BJ McLeod, AJ Allmendinger, etc., etc., etc. So it looks like they'll have 2 laps around the track to get their best time. I was wondering how many laps they're going to have since it's such a small track. And, you know, if you make one slight mistake, that's obviously going to matter a ton on a track where each lap is so short. So it's going to also be interesting to see how, like, the Trackhouse guys showed a lot of pace in practice. So we'll have to see how they do. I guess the team that was the team that was lacking would probably be Penske. None of their cars seem to have a ton of pace. The not Ganassi, what was I saying? The Hendrick cars had pace. The Gibbs cars had pace. RFK cars did not. So RFK and Penske, I think, were the 2, and 23XI were probably the 3 bigger teams that didn't have a lot of pace. And then Trackhouse definitely seemed to have a lot more pace than I anticipated. Rick Ware had a lot more pace than I anticipated. Like, here, we can look at the top times from practice here really quick, actually. Because I believe it was Chase Elliott first by like a couple hundredths. Or wait, no, this isn't what I want. Here, let's look at the results from practice. Here we are. So yeah. Okay, is it loading? Okay, yeah, the results from practice. So yeah, Elliott was first, then Harvick. So that's funny. They were 1-2, and only separated by 2 thousandths. So that showed you, like, there were multiple times in practice where like 3 drivers had the same exact lap time down to the 100th. But anyways, yeah, then Briscoe in third, Haley in fourth, Kyle Busch in fifth. And that top 5 alone is like pretty sorted. You have 2 veterans in Harvick and Busch, and I guess I'll say Elliott's a veteran, at least compared to Briscoe and Haley, who one's a rookie and the other one's in his second year. So, and then you have Reddick 6th, Larson 7th, Landon Castle 8th, kind of an underdog. And then you have Ryan Blaney, Hamlin rounds out the top 10. Then you have Trackhouse and Daniel Suarez in 11th, Cole Custer 12th, and then Cody Ware all the way up in P13, and only a 10th behind the best time in practice. And then you have Corey LaJoie, Ryan Preece, and Ryan Preece is in a Rick Ware car, the 15 car for the Clash. And then you got Todd Gillen, Michael McDowell, Kurt Busch. Honestly, all the way back to pretty much the top 20 or so, we're all like pretty close in lap time. Or I'd say 5th through like 20th, we're all within like a 10th. So that's where it's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, obviously, these times don't matter that much, because there's the heats that are the real qualifiers, and those are tomorrow. But I'll be live streaming those as well as the last chance qualifier, as well as the main event. Oh, Brian Frayne, LC, cars that go late will have better time. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Appreciate you guys for 5 likes. If we could hit double digits, that'd be great. And if you're new, subscribe. I will be commentating like literally almost every single race this year, except probably the Daytona 500, because, that's like the biggest race of the year, and I'll probably be seeing it with other people. Even it is funny that the first race of the year is the biggest race of the year. Like everything else, it's almost like kind of, well, in terms of importance, the races start at the most important one, and then it kind of dips down, and then it kind of comes back up for the very last one. But yeah, what I have on the screen right now is basically just the order for qualifying. I mean, even qualifying on pole doesn't really matter anything in this. So it just means that you'll be, if you qualify on pole, you'll be on pole for the first heat race, which will have 9 cars, and the top 4 advance into the final, or well, into the main event, and then the bottom 5 and all the heat races will have to race in last chance qualifiers, and there'll be 2 with, I believe, each 10 cars, and then the top 3 in those will also make the main event, and then there will be 1 car that whichever car is left that scored the highest place in owner points in the 2021 season will also get into the main event, which will, so the main event will have 23 cars. LC is my friend. Okay. Oh, are you saying LC in terms of Landon Castle, Brian Fain? I have no idea. Are you? I don't. I'm not sure if that's what you're getting at. I also like Landon Castle, so I was pretty stoked to see that he was in a car for this weekend because, like, he's a pretty good short track racer. So who knows what he could do? Same with Ryan Preece. It just feels so great to be like live again for this year's season of NASCAR. I was so stoked during practice earlier today. It's like NASCAR is finally back. Oh my goodness. But yeah, here right now we're just looking at some of the clash times. So yeah, obviously we had Elliott first, like I was saying, but honestly, overall, like literally all the way back to like 25th is only 2 tenths behind the leader. And then anybody, I'd say honestly, outside the top 25 were probably the people who really were struggling, because then it kind of goes from pretty big increments between each car. Like once you, yeah, like the difference between Dillon and Allmendinger is 4 tenths, and then 2 tenths between Chastain and Allmendinger, and then another 4 back to Truex, and 4 back to Almirola and Burton. And then like the person who seemed to miss the setup the most was probably Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, and then Brad Keselowski. Like the Fords in general probably were the ones that struggled the most. They did have a couple guys that are doing pretty well, like Harvick and Briscoe and Blaney towards the front. But other than that, almost the entire bottom row here you see is Almirola, Burton, Keselowski, Cindric, McLeod. All those guys are in Fords. And then also Truex and Wallace were struggling a bit, which it's honestly been pretty surprising. Like most of the good short track racers seem to be doing all right, at least in terms of practice. Like Elliott's up there, Hamlin's up there, like those are Kyle Busch is up there. Those are all kind of more notable good short track racers. But then honestly, outside of those guys, like Truex, who's pretty good on short tracks, at least as of late, he's all the way back in 30th. Brad Keselowski back in 33rd. Joey Logano in 26th. But yeah, so and honestly, things seem to have started out similar to last year for Hendrick. They've got guys all the way up towards the front with Larson in 7th and Elliott in 1st, and then you got Byron back here. And where is Byron? I thought he was top 10. I guess where'd he go? Byron back in 22nd, but then Bowman lagging behind all of them once again. But I just find that so funny how Bowman had 4 wins, but like in terms of every other statistic than wins, he was so far behind all of his other teammates. But like he had more wins than 2 of them. It's just the irony there. Are you going to stream the races? Yes, I'll be doing this for all of my all pretty much all the races. I won't be doing the 500 because I'll be with just hanging out with other people, because that's just a big event like the Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl of NASCAR, except it's at the beginning of the season, not the end. Yeah, Brian Fain, I'd want to be starting in front of each heat. Be hard. Yeah, passing is going to be hard. Like that's what I'm really interested to see in the heat races, because obviously in the practices everybody's just testing it out. They only had 8 minutes at a time on the track, so you're not. There were some guys doing a little bit of bumping and running, but most people are just getting out of the way. Are you going to stream the race? Yeah, yeah, I'm going to be streaming the races. I already read that comment, but yeah, so I'll be streaming both heat races and last chance qualifier, and then I'll take a little break because there's going to be probably an hour between the end of the last chance qualifiers and the main event, and then I'll be commentating the main event. And yeah, usually what I do is I have the leaderboard up on the screen, somewhat similar to this here for the main race. Um, But for the qualifying, I'm not, because it's probably going to be like slightly ahead of like what because I'm just watching the broadcast and commentating to that with the volume off. And the website's usually maybe like a 30 seconds or a minute ahead of the actual broadcast. So I don't want to be like spoiling it because, you know, it's like lap times. But yeah, so we should be getting ready for qualifying in less than 10 minutes now. So I'm excited for that. Also, guys, if you want to have a shot at winning the erased version of this year's Daytona winning car, the diecast for this year's Daytona 500 124th scale ARC, you can enter in a free giveaway on my Instagram page, and there'll be a link to that in the description below of this live stream. Or you can just look me up at Freeman Diecast on Instagram. Just Freeman Diecast. FEREEMANDIECAST. I appreciate you guys who are tuning in. 7 likes. Can we hit double digits? I would appreciate it. If you're new, if you subscribe, I also appreciate that too. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how these like underdog teams do, because obviously it's the next gen car is supposed to bunch the field together a bit and make things a bit more even. But I honestly don't think that it will. But so far, at least in the practices, it seemed to have proven me wrong a bit. But I'm not quite sure how much of that is the next gen car itself in terms of it making the field closer, or more so just certain teams have a better grasp of the next gen car at first. And eventually things will even out and the best teams will still be the best teams. Or well, the best teams of last year will still be the best teams this year. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. But like here, you see, like you got Landon Castle all the way up in P8. You have Cody Ware in P13 and Ryan Preece in P15. Like Cody Ware was up at the top of the leaderboard and like early on in practice, and I was like, okay, what is going on right now? I mean, I wasn't like against it, but I was like, man, it's working wonders, that next gen car. Because then you got Todd Gillen up in 16th, which is pretty solid for a rookie. And then you got like Corey LaJoy up in P14. Like you had both Rick Ware cars and both Spire cars in the top 15. Like who would have predicted that? And I don't wait, we're both I don't think Trackhouse cars were. Chastain was lagging a bit behind, but Suarez had pace up in 11th. But yeah, honestly, I mean, we may see another Elliott Harvick battle in the clash. I mean, they were 1-2 in practice early on and only separated by 2 1,000ths. Also, I think Harvick ran almost the most laps of anybody. No, I take that back. Tyler Reddick ran 111 laps in practice, and even though he only did that in 24 minutes. Oh, they're bringing the cars out on the track. Oh my gosh, it's just I'm so excited. I miss this thing so much. This track looks so amazing. I hope the racing's good because I'd love for them to keep going back to this. Or at least go to other stadiums or something, like, because it looks so cool. Like if they had one relatively close to me, like in a big city like Chicago or something, I would definitely try and make it. Yeah, I know. I think this next gen car hopefully will have to do more based off just talent behind the wheel than the wheel you're driving, because if you understand what I'm saying, because that just that really gets to show you who the most talented drivers are. You know what I mean, or who's talented and what type of tracks and things like that. Guys, if you guys who are your favorite drivers, guys? If you want to put that in the chat. Um, my favorite driver is Kyle Larson. You can probably tell by the hoodie and the hat. Um, and I'm not a bandwagon, guys. I liked Juan Pablo Montoya when I was little because I just liked the red target cars. They just looked all bright to me. And then I really started following NASCAR right about that time when Juan Pablo retired, and then Larson took over the 42. So then I just kind of started to follow Larson. But in general, if I had to say some of my favorite drivers, I would probably say, besides Larson, I like Landon Castle. I also liked him when he was in Cup Series full time, even though he was in a bit more of a back marker car. I like Corey LaJoy. I think he's a funny guy. One guy who I'm just starting to kind of like more and more is Austin Cendric. If you guys follow him on Instagram, he just posts some of the funniest stuff sometimes, and he just seems to always be like, well, yeah, he seems to have a good sense of humor. And I also like AJ Allmendinger. I kind of like Stenhouse. And yeah, I'd say those are some of my like my four more preferable drivers. And I really wouldn't say there are any drivers that I dislike. I really wouldn't say that I dislike Chase Elliott, but if I had to pick somebody who I dislike, it'd probably be Chase Elliott. More so because I feel like small parts of his fan base are like more toxic than most of the other fan bases. But I'm not criticizing the fan base as a whole. I know there are a lot of great Elliott fans out there, like my brother. So, but yeah. Oh, I also really like Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch would also be up there with one of my more. I'm really interested. One of my favorite drivers. I'm really interested to see how the other KFB does this year in that new team. And I really want to see how him and Bubba compare and how they, I guess, that how their the chemistry works over on that team. 2K Adrian to go. Yours is Bubba and Kyle Busch. I also like Kyle Busch, but more so for his personality and some of his great paint schemes. Like, honestly, Kyle Busch and I think Kevin Harvick are some of the best drivers for NASCAR because their personalities, especially Kevin Harvick more recently, just because he's kind of become like the old like grumpy guy or like um who's like always trying to like kind of get something started, it seems nowadays. You should just him and Corey LaJoy were going at it in practice. It was like 5 minutes into the next season and Kevin Harvick's already looking for somebody to start a new rivalry with. But yeah, Brian Fenton, him in the 10 car is going to be awesome. Landon is racing 13 cup races this year. Oh yeah, so I also I did not see that till now. I knew Balicki was going to be doing a lot of races in the 77 and I saw Landon was obviously doing the Clash, but I didn't know if that entailed more races in the 77 for this year, but it would make sense that in the 38 races out of the year, including the two or well the 36 points paying and the two extra curricular races, I guess, or exhibition races, what I'll call them. I was wondering who's going to run the other 13. So I'm glad Landon is. So it's going to be fun to see him out on track a couple more times this year. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody watching. We're about to be live with qualifying, only about 2-3 minutes away from once the first cars will start to roll off. It's going to be based on owners' points in terms of who owner points from last season will determine who goes first and who goes last. So Larson will be going last, and the first will be Kurt Busch, but that's because that charter and that team, that 45 team, is brand new, so that we didn't even have any owners' points last year. But yeah, if we could get 10 likes, I'd really appreciate that. Old guy, do you guys expect much real racing on a 1/4 mile track? I don't really. What do you mean by like real racing? I guess. I mean, I am pretty excited for it. I mean, I don't think the racing will be as great as I guess maybe Bristol or maybe like sometimes there are some of those great race finishes at Chicagoland. Like I do think that it won't be able to provide the element of having like multiple grooves where like you get guys getting runs off the top and chasing somebody down the back straightaway. But like there'll still be that like fun Martinsville like kind of bump and run aspect to it for sure. So that's what I'm more so excited for. Hey, good point, Paul Nicholson. Last clash with a Mars car on the track. I am honestly so sad to see the Mars like them leaving the 18 car. Those are some of my favorite paint schemes to this day, especially the Skittles cars. Almost more so than the M&M cars, but like just in general, like besides the fact that they're candy and like that makes them appealing as like a younger person, like the colors were also always so bright and like engaging, which is just something I loved. Jimmy Jackpot. I only see short track racing. I just see heaps of lap cars. I don't know if we'll see heaped amounts of lap. I'm not going to say it like that. I don't think we're going to see a ton of lapped traffic necessarily. Like I think there will be, but I think the racing is going to be more close than people think it is. I mean, obviously it's a short track, so I mean, even if it's close, the track's so small. I mean, old guy, I've been to Bowman Gray in Anderson, Illinois. The guy that gets in the lead will win unless he gets pushed down the way. Yeah, that's how it's going to be though. Like, and that's honestly the element that NASCAR kind of wanted to create with this is like this whole bump and run, like idea. Like that's what people kind of loved about Dale Earnhardt in some aspects, and like it's going to be who's willing to push it the most. Who's going to be willing to get people aggravated the most before the real season even starts. I do think that like we did see like you can definitely have multiple approaches to the turns. Like you can kind of have a wider arc or a tighter arc, or like you can exit low or exit high. It depends if you want to use the rumble strips. So it's going to be interesting. Have to move someone to pass, or I do think that if you are able to get a good enough run off like corner exit, you could definitely make a dive pass. Like you don't necessarily have to use the chrome horn, but yeah, use the chrome horn, says the old guy. Yeah. Yeah, we okay here. When the green drops, things are gonna go chaos. Yeah. Hello, MENCS fan 9. Also, if you guys want a shot at winning a rate the 2022 Daytona 500 124 raced version, you can have a shot at winning that for free if you go check out my Instagram, link that in the description of the game, or you can just find it on on Instagram at free diecast. Plain and simple as that. FEREEMANDIECAST. But yeah, if you're new, I appreciate it. If you subscribe. And yeah, we got 5 people watching, but only 8 likes. If a couple more of you guys could drop a like, I'd appreciate that. I really hope this is a success though in some way, just because I think I would love to see some sort of this like idea of stadium racing become a thing, mainly exhibition races, not actual points paying races, because it would just allow us to explore so many new markets. And I think some like Eric Eastep, if you guys follow him, I think he's made that point a lot in some of his videos about the clashes. Like it would be great to be able to explore markets, like have a race in the heart of New York City, but you don't have to go like, well, I guess there isn't a good stadium in New York City that I can think of off the top of my head. But like you can have a race in the heart of any city now without having to build an entire racetrack and tear down like a building or find a new plot of land. So okay, I guess the cars are just gonna start to get rolling here in about a minute.
Kurt Busch, as a matter of fact, there he goes, rolling out of the infield. He'll take a hard.
I would put on the MRN radio, but the only thing is that I mean here, well, hold up. Is that it had it like they literally were just talking about Kurt Busch rolling onto the tracks. They're like a solid. My broadcast isn't even to Kurt Busch coming onto the track, so they're solid quite a bit ahead of us. So I'd kind of be spoiling the if I was able to say it like that. And I can't necessarily hit pause and then hit play. So I don't know what first pays. I just know that the overall purse is like right around $2 million. I mean, it's at least, probably a couple 100,000, but I mean, I honestly, I don't know why I didn't realize this before, but NASCAR really should increase the All-Star race. Excuse me, the purse for that, because $1 million is literally nothing. I mean, okay, take that back. It is a ton of money, but compared to what it was back when they were first doing $1 million, that's like nothing. Okay, Kurt Busch is on the track. The first car in qualifying, I believe his first lap is on the clock now. Okay, maybe not because he looked like he kind of missed turn 1, but okay. Through turns 3 and 4 already. I mean, I could say through turns 1 and 2, through turns 3 and 4, through turns 1 and 2, because that's just how short this track is. I mean, he really is fighting that steering wheel through the turns, like just trying to get the power down and not spin the tires too much. And it's really interesting to see what lines people are working. So, okay, so he's already made his laps. It looked like, yeah, he was definitely, it's okay. The people who go first are going to be struggling hard. This track is so cold. Kurt Busch ran a 14.4, which is incredibly slow. So, yeah, this track is so cold. That is nowhere near good conditions or good times. So definitely we'll see faster times later in practice. We'll have to see how that changes. So Corey LaJoie runs a 14.529 on his first lap, a 10th slower. Now let's see how he does on the second lap. Oh, maybe they only have one lap. Okay, this is kind of confusing. I thought they had two. I still don't totally understand the way the qualifying works for this year, if it's in groups or not, but I guess it is the way they're talking about it. It's in groups, but it's single car race. Corey LaJoie goes P2 out of 2 cars. Or wait, now he's up to P1. I don't understand. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so Ryan Preece is out on track. I think oh wow, he locks up big time going into turns 3 and 4. Ryan Preece could definitely do some damage in this race, or be a competitor. He is a great short track racer. He had great pace wow, he locks it up again. This track it's so cold, or well, the tires are cold. I don't know. Nobody's able to get the grip. Okay, now he goes fastest, even though, okay, this is really interesting. He runs a 14.277, but he had major lockups through all of that. So there's definitely going to be faster times than that, as long as people don't lock up. So on the first lap, Ty Dillon goes, looks like he goes P3 on a 4 car so far. You can just see they're trying to find grip anywhere in that track. So, okay, so that first lap, he goes a 14.966, which is pretty slow. Now let's see if he can improve on the second lap here. And as he comes across the line, no, he does not. He improves by 0.4, but he's still in 4th overall. I'm watching it on Hulu, on my TV across the room. So, Cody Ware's now on track. He locks it up as well. He had pace in practice. Let's see how he does. He's looking to put the power down. He kind of spins the tires off the corner. You can see the car's just sliding around. Okay, I think he's coming to get the white flag or the green flag for his first lap. Okay, his first lap's underway into turns 1 and 2. That seems pretty smooth there. It just slides off corner exit, man. That's crazy. And this time at the line, it looks like he goes P5. I think the second lap is going to be the faster lap for everybody, just because the track is, they got to get more warmth in the tires. And that second lap is going to be and okay, so Cody Ware goes P4 overall, not the greatest, but P4 out of 5 guys. Ryan Preece still on pole out of the first 5 cars to go. So those are the first 5 cars to go, and I think they may be taking a short break between them and the next car. The next car on track looks like it's the 78 of BJ McLeod.
Copy.
Cloud's clear. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, gotcha.
If you guys hear that, they're doing a quick mic check on Kyle Larson's radio. That may be coming across your audio as well. Let's see how BJ. Well, I didn't realize BJ McLeod's only 38. He looks so old. If there are any BJ McLeod fans out there, I'm sorry if I offend you. Wow, he locks up. Everybody's locking it up. They're saying that the brakes are so much more stronger on these cars. Whoa! BJ McLeod goes P2 over 6 cars. What's that? Speed out of nowhere from the Live Fast car. Is he going to put it on pole?
You still got me, Kyle?
Yeah.
And is he going to go on
Halfway through the
pole?
first
Yes!
quick observation.
BJ McLeod on pole. I don't think I'm
First
ever
one
going to
out
say
in
that
front
again
of
in my
the
life.
tires for the dead last. I don't know that really did enough to work him in.
No,
So I think
Jimmy,
I
there's
would,
not. Sorry, bud.
Plan to go hard right out of turn 4. Left front lockup is really,
Okay,
really
I mean,
easy
qualifying
to do
doesn't
for
matter.
a lap and a half.
I mean, it does matter, but it doesn't matter
You know,
too much
two
as long as you're
laps
not in like the
around.
bottom like 10 or
So
so,
be very careful with
because
that.
the heat
And
races,
then I
you
think
know,
your
are how
plan
people
of
really
just,
qualify their way in.
You know, what we talked about to work him in good is.
But right now, it looks like AJ Allmendinger's on track, and he's going to get the green flag for his first lap. He showed some decent pace in qualifying. Let's see how he does here. So far, though, the lap times are a lot slower than they were in qualifying. So we'll have to see if the paces pick up or not. He goes to P4 out of 7 cars
AJ
overall
did
in
a
his
quick
first
time,
lap.
14-12 on his
Appreciate
lap.
you guys
He was
watching
just
who you
really
are.
smooth. When he got to the money lap,
And
he
it
didn't
looks like as he
try to
completes
do
his
anything
second
crazy.
lap,
He
where's
was
that going to
just
put
really
him?
smooth.
Allmendinger goes
Okay.
P1. He takes the spot away from BJ McLeod. So BJ McLeod held the tentative pole for a solid probably the 40 seconds, I'd say. That was great while it lasted. I appreciate if you guys drop a like if you're new and subscribe if you guys want to see my commentary to all the other NASCAR events that happen this weekend and throughout the season. Todd Gilliland's on track. He showed pace in practice, so we'll have to see how the rookie does in his first ever NASCAR race. I believe it's his first. He may have made some start randomly a year or two ago. Anyways. And now on his first lap, that'll put him, where will he be overall? Or wait, no, I think now he's getting the green flag for his first lap. My bad. Sorry about that. And here he comes across the stripe. And okay, I don't know. They just turned off the leaderboard. So we'll just look at the website. He went 7th out of 8. So not the best time there. So 7th out of 8 overall. And I definitely looks like the track's driving a lot different now than how it was driving earlier in practice. Yeah, I'll have to see how Landon Castle does. He's up to bat now. He was 8th in practice. He won a snowball derby in his career. He's a bit of an accomplished short track racer. Let's see how he does. Okay, so he's got the white flag or the green flag for his first lap. Also, Gilliland went 4th, not 7th. My bad. They got the ticker fixed again. So here he comes, getting 1 lap underway, and let's see where that puts him. That puts him in 8th. But everybody's second lap has been quicker, so let's see how that does. Second time around, that 77 car does look beautiful. And that'll put him first by over almost a whole tenth. How about that from Landon Castle, baby? Hey, I may put some money on Landon Castle if I still can. 1,000 to 1 odds. Those are his. I mean, I'll just put $5 on him, maybe. Okay, I'll try and catch up on the chat really here, guys. I know there's a ton of people watching right now. I appreciate it. If you drop a like and subscribe if you haven't before. So yeah, okay, LaJoy at the top. Well, the fastest time for practice was a 13.4. And so far, the fastest time isn't even below 14 seconds. So over a half a second gap between the times in qualifying and in practice. But I kind of expected that because the faster times in practice were once guys were able to get into a groove, run 10 laps or so, and really just find the right line. When you've only got 2 laps and cold tires, I really did not expect anybody to go out there and set a new fastest lap for the weekend. And honestly, the fastest laps of this entire weekend will probably have been turned already, and that was in practice because nobody's probably going to have an opportunity unless they're in the lead of maybe the main event to just lay down some good, clean laps with no traffic in their way. Appreciate it, guys. Already 23 likes. Got nearly 100 people watching. So if another couple of you guys could drop a like, I'd appreciate it. Sorry, Carlos E. Herrera. I do not speak Spanish, or well, I do, but not well. Hulu's like a website, but you have to like you can't watch it for free. Yeah, I don't really know any ways to get around it other than just me commentating it for you guys. So I appreciate if you guys stay tuned in. 110 people watching now. I appreciate it. But yeah, so after I believe what was that? The first 9 cars to go, we had the first fourth of the field is gone, and Landon Castle's on tentative pole by about nearly a tenth or so over AJ Allmendinger, then BJ McLeod, Ryan Preece, Todd Gilliland, Corey LaJoy, Kurt Busch, Cody Ware, Ty Dillon. So far, it definitely seems the times are picking up the more cars that go. Like once the track's now starting to get a bit more rubber back in it, it's getting heated up a bit, so it's getting a little bit more life. So the times seem to be quickening up. Pretty much every car that's gone so far has set the new pole time or gone to the top 3 at least. Oh, dude. I would actually love to be at this event. It'd be so cool and loud. It'd be like, yeah, and the stadium's beautiful. Okay, now we got Brad Keselowski on track in a beautiful purple car with the purple chrome numbers, but I don't see him having a lot of pace unless he surprises me. He really struggled in practice. He was in the bottom like 5 or so. A lot of the Fords, or well, the Penske and the RFK cars kind of struggled in practice, so I wonder how they'll do in qualifying. 1 lap complete, and he goes 10th out of 10 cars overall. Now let's see on the second lap if he can improve. Here he comes, and at the stripe, he will go up to 6th. The 6th car is in currently 6th position. I really wonder, like, if we're going to see, like, a notable driver miss the main event because there's only 23 cars. And, I mean, there are a lot of guys who I would not have thought who would have been competitive have been competitive. Okay, and now it looks like the next car on track is Cole Custer. Cole Custard.
He did not shift.
Okay.
And then we have... Okay, so Cole Custer on his first lap goes P5, so we can see how he does on his second lap. He's showing pretty good pace so far.
On your phone?
Yeah, I am.
And let's see how he does. He did pretty well in practice. And he goes P1 overall. And he's the first car to break 14 seconds. Now Cole Custer's your tentative pole setter. Appreciate you guys watching. Almost 35 likes. Can we hit 42 to pay homage to the Ganassi 42? Okay, now we got Justin Haley on track, and he was really fast in practice. He was, I believe, 4th overall. Another rookie. Wait, no, not. Well, yeah, this is his rookie season, but his second season in the Cup Series. He ran quite a few races last year in the 77 for Spire. And his first lap puts him 4th overall on the board. I think he's definitely going to have a shot at taking the pole here from Cole Custer. And as he exits turn 4, at the stripe, he goes to pole by 600ths over Cole Custer. 13.8 every time now. Each car has set the pole by almost 500ths or so. So we're definitely seeing quite a bit of pace increase. Allmendinger goes over and gives his teammate a fist bump.
Maybe a little more of a difference in 1 and 2 than 3 and 4. Doing that better in 1 and 2.
Well, you guys are already almost over 1,000 playbacks on this day, so appreciate everybody who's been tuning in. All 100 of you who are watching right now, 130 of you. Okay, we got Eric Jones out on the track. He's also a bit of a short track racer. He showed a bit of pace in practice. Let's see how he goes on his first lap. He goes P11. He's already faster than his teammate, who's currently in last. Okay, so the 43 car. On his second lap, he goes up to P5. How about that for the Jones boys? So he breaks the streak of new pole sitters, but not too shabby. A P5 overall so far on a 13 cars from Eric Jones. Nearly 50 likes on this video, so I really appreciate it, guys.
The
Chase Briscoe now on track. He showed a lot of pace in practice as well. I believe he was P3 actually, right behind his teammate Kevin Harvick, who was P2, and Chase Elliott, who was fastest in practice. And where does that lap put him? Okay, no, this is his first lap. He doesn't even have his visor down. He's just looking right at his bare face. And first lap puts him, only 11th, so not the best first lap. Okay, let's see how he goes here on his second lap. So, does his pace from practice translate to qualifying or not? We'll have to see here. He goes P7, so not quite. So far, BJ McLeod is beating the likes of Chase Briscoe, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch.
Probably okay.
Oh boy, man. I never would have thought I'd be saying that. Got over 150 people watching. Appreciate all of you guys. But we only got 50 likes, so can we get likes? I believe there'll be 2 more cars to go in this group, and then there'll be another short commercial break because they're doing them in groups of 9 or fourths of the entire field. And Stenhouse is on track. He also, I think he was all right in practice, but he's a bit of a short track racer, more so on dirt than on pavement. Oh, he locks it up big time. And how's his first lap going to match up to others? He goes 4th overall. That is pretty fast for somebody's first lap. Now let's see if he can improve. He could go pole here. Like I said, a bit of a short track racer himself, Ricky Stenhouse. He's going to go only up to 3rd, so a bit of an improvement, but still that's big. Every position is going to matter when it comes to these heat races. It's going to be, I'd rather be starting 5th than 6th on a track like this where it's so hard to pass. Who's my pick to win the race? I have no idea, man. I thought I had a clue, but after practice, I have no idea. I mean, Justin Haley would be a cool underdog. Landon Castle. Bubba Wallace, though, he's on track now. He was really slow in practice, and honestly, he's not the best short track racer, so we'll have to see how he does here. Can he improve from his practice pace? He tries to put the power down, and he goes 9th overall, so that wasn't too shabby there. Let's see how he does on this second lap. Can he improve? He's got a pretty cool chrome red helmet there. And at the stripe, he's going to go 5th overall, so quite an improvement from practice. So that's good work out of that team, and that'll wrap up the second qualifying heat, and that'll put us to half the field qualified. So we're halfway through qualifying, guys. We got almost 60 likes, so does that mean we'll get 120 by the end of this? But I'd appreciate it if you guys drop a like if you haven't already. The next car that'll be on, oh wait, I thought we were going to go to commercial break. I guess we got one more Trackhouse, and that is Daniel Suarez in the 99. And we'll see how Suarez does here. On his first lap, he showed pace in practice, like I was saying. Can he improve it? And first lap, that'll put him 15th on a 17 car, so not the greatest. Let's see if he can improve on the second lap here. Trooper Schneider, I have no answer for you. And the second lap will be 2nd overall. That was a great second lap on a Daniel Suarez to put him on the 10. Well, he would be on pole for heat race number 2 if everything stays how it is. And he's the 4th car to bring it under 14 seconds. Now, I still have to say the times in qualifying are nowhere near the times in practice. The fastest time in practice was a 13.46, and the fastest time so far in qualifying was a 13.89. So nearly a half a second difference, which is pretty big on a small track like this. And now we got Chris Buescher in that second RFK car. He did not have great pace in practice, nor did his teammate. Let's see how he does in qualifying. Can he out-qualify the boss man? Wow, first lap goes 18th overall, so the lowest he could possibly go. And at the stripe, Buescher goes 11th overall, so not great, but faster than his teammate, I guess. So RFK cars still have not shown great pace this weekend, and I would not be surprised if one of them ended up missing the big show, which would be kind of weird. I feel like we're going to see some bigger names miss the actual clash, which is just going to feel weird because that's never been a thing ever in NASCAR before, where people have missed the show. And wow, we got 220 people in here almost. I appreciate everybody watching. If you guys want to put in your picks to win this weekend, I appreciate it. Nearly 70 likes, but 69. That's a nice number right there. No, but can we get 169, which wouldn't even require everybody who's watching to drop a like. And also, if you're new, hit subscribe. And if you guys want a shot at winning the raced version of this year's 2022 Daytona 500 winner for free, you can have an opportunity to do that in a giveaway on my Instagram page, Freeman Diecast, link in the description of this video, or just look up Freeman Diecast on Instagram, FreemanDiecast, and you can have a shot at winning. Well, you have to, do simple things like you just have to like the post, tag 3 friends in the comments, and then put who your pick is to win the Daytona 500. And that's all. That's literally all you have to do. And to get a bonus entry, you can send it to your story and tag me, or send me proof that you're subscribed to this YouTube channel. And if you subscribe to this YouTube channel, go follow me on Instagram. You're already done.
So give yourself plenty of room right here.
Appreciate you guys watching, though. Nearly 3,000 viewers on the day already. Okay, now I'm going to try and catch up on the chat really quick. TB Gaming, Alex Bowman or Hendrick Chevy to win the race. I don't know. That's a pretty reasonable pick. That's a pretty reasonable answer. I'd probably say Alex Bowman's probably the least likely of the Hendrick Chevy so far, though. He didn't show great pace in practice, but obviously maybe he'll right the ship in qualifying or figure something out in the heat races tomorrow. Kyle Busch is going to win the Busch Clash. He's already won the Bushy McBush. Wait, was it the Bushy McBush race or what? It was the Bushy something Bush race, and he won that. So it'd be fitting if he won the Busch Clash. They showed the same stupid commercial 3 times. I didn't even notice that. Imagine Cody Ware winning. Well, I thought that was going to be possible in practice, but he did not qualify that well. So he's going to have to make up a lot of ground in the heat races and in the main event to do that. I appreciate everybody watching. Currently still under commercial, but okay, now we're back live, and the next group of cars, or the next round, I shall say, are going to be going out here in a second. What they're kind of doing is during these commercial breaks is they're when a car does their 2 laps, they pull into the little infield area, and then the next car pulls out of the little infield area. And then every 9 cars, they bring all the cars that are in the infield that just ran back out to the garage area, and then bring in the next group of 9. But yes, guys, I will be live. Well, I'll be commentating live all of the events that happen this weekend. I'll be commentating the duels for Daytona, which are 2 weeks away. Sadly, NASCAR doesn't flow right into next week. We have to watch the Super Bowl. I probably won't be doing the 500, but every other race of the year I will be doing almost on a dot unless I'm there in person. So yeah, guys already trying to warm up their tires as they just pull into the infield area where they're going to wait to make their run. They're just swerving those cars around as much as they can, because they just saw the last group and they saw if you did not have your tires warmed up, boy, you were in for it, and you were not going to put down a fast time. Oh, I appreciate everybody watching. If we can get to 100 likes, I would really appreciate that. That'd be close to like my record for a live stream. So I appreciate everybody watching so far. This has been a great live stream. I mean, this is like records all over the place for me. And that's a great way to start the season, am I right? Where did Cashel finish? Pardon me. Brian Fain, what did Cashel finish? Well, there's still more cars to run, but at least tentatively, he's 5th overall out of 18 cars. So let's just say at this pace, he would be right around 10th to 15th overall, which would put him starting around 3rd place in his heat. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I'm burping a bit, but yeah, they showed us the the track has dropped 3 degrees in heat since the beginning of qualifying, so it's just getting cooler and cooler. So I guess it's just going to get more and more grip. Or wait, I mean, not get more grip. I mean, get more slick. I don't know. I'm not the total expert in terms of track conditions, but I just love to watch cars go in circles. Burr. You pick Kyle Busch will win his 3rd Clash. I mean, I think Kyle Busch is a decent pick. We'll have to see how he doesn't find how he sets himself up in his heat. Who's the weakest of the Hendricks, Gibbs, Penske, or Stewart Haas, in your opinion? Do you mean each car on each team or which of those teams? I would have to say so far this weekend, it would probably be probably say Penske, but I think that's definitely probably going to change. I mean, that was just judging off practice. That may change in qualifying and in the main races, but both Logano and Cendric did not show good pace. Blaney showed decent pace, and nor did Burton, and he's basically a Penske car. He's on track right now, making his lap time. How is his first lap going to put him overall? And on his first lap, he's going to go 16th on a 19. So this is another rookie in this field. Let's see how Harrison Burton does on his second lap. Where will that put him overall? And he will go. He'll go all the way up to 5th. So that is a pretty good run there for that Penske associated car. So guys, just stop listening to me. I guess Penske's maybe not doing the worst out of most people right now. So I think Kevin Harvick definitely could. I mean, I think cars that I'd pick to go on pole would just be guys who are fast in qualifying. So, I mean, Justin Haley is fast. I mean, not fast in qualifying, fast in practice. Justin Haley is fast, and Daniel Suarez were fast in practice, and they're fast in qualifying. So, I'd probably say people like Harvick, Elliott, Larson, Reddick would be good picks to go on pole. Austin Dillon's making his laps. And he goes 17th overall in his first lap. Right now, he's looking to go right around 9th or 10th. And off corner exit, he's going to go P9. That was a pretty solid run out of the 3 car. Puts him in the top half of the field for now. But appreciate everybody watching. We're almost to 100 likes. We got 250 people watching right now. So, okay. Oh, each team, TB Gaming. So the weakest, I would say so far, I mean, just judging off practice, would be Bowman for Hendrick. And here I'm going to commentate to McDowell's qualifying run. McDowell had pace in practice, so I'll have to see how he does in qualifying. I think this next-gen car is going to suit McDowell's driving style. And he goes 8th overall in his first lap, so let's see how he does on the second lap. Will he move up into the top 5? And he's coming around, and at the stripe, he goes up to P6. So that's a nice run there. He's the 6th car to go under 14 seconds. And we hit 100 likes. I really appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. But, I mean, just as I keep saying it, guys, I hate to annoy you, but we got 250 people watching and only 100 likes. So if we get a couple more, appreciate it. Also, subscribe if you're new and you enjoy what you're seeing. And now we got Eric Almirola on track now. And as I'm saying that, Eric Almirola would probably be the weakest of the Stewart Haas cars, at least from what I'm seeing so far this weekend. And he's going to roll the turns. His first lap's going to put him into 10th place. So I guess he's, guys, I guess people have totally changed their cars for qualifying from practice. So I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. And on the second lap, he's going to go. Oh, he's not going to improve. That's pretty interesting. That's the first time. That's the first time we haven't seen somebody not improve on their second lap. But it looked like he messed up one of the turns there. He locked it up pretty hard in the center of the turn. In general, I mean, I don't know. I'd probably say Bowman and Almirola, or maybe Bowman and Custer for those two teams. But like, Bowman gets a lot of wins, but I feel like in terms of week-to-week consistency, he's still searching for it a bit. And speaking of Bowman, he's on track now. And that white 48 Ally car, not purple this year. And his first lap, he's going to go 9th overall. Now let's see how he does on his second time. Will he improve? And he's trying to roll that. He's losing time, it looks like, in turns 3 and 4, but he's going to go up to 7th. So that's a solid run there from the 48 team. And then on Gibbs overall, I'd probably have to say the weakest team's probably Bell, but like I wouldn't say he's that bad. I just say all three of those. I mean, his three teammates are all really accomplished and pretty consistent. So, and then with Penske, I'd have to go Austin Cendric. Like, he's the rookie, so I feel like, but all those things I've just said about the weakest links on those teams could easily be changed. I mean, all those guys are capable of improving. And now we got Tyler Reddick, who was in the top 10 overall in practice earlier today. Let's see how he does on his hot laps. He rolls it pretty smooth there through turns 1 and 2. Didn't see any lockup. Currently, he was in the green there for a second. Is he going to put it on pole? And Tyler Reddick goes P2. He only has to improve by a couple hundredths, and he'll put it on pole. And he's looking to do that right here. Oh, he's putting together one heck of a lap. And Tyler Reddick's going to go on pole, ladies and gentlemen. And he's going to do it by over a 10th. Now, that was a lap right there. Now, that was a lap like what we were seeing in practice earlier today, ladies and gentlemen. That there was quality right there. Andy Petrie looks happy with that. Yeah, no, I know Reddick, that was the first lap that I saw where he looked totally comfortable. It was flowing. The laps were flowing together really nice. The turns were flowing together real nice. And it looked like it was that fast lap where I was like, wow, that was fast. And I didn't even have to see the ticker. Okay, I'm trying to catch up with you guys in the chat. 89, Catherine Hamilton. I appreciate you saying that. I really do. I appreciate you guys making any sort of compliments in this stream. I love to bring the energy. I feel like that's something that the guys in the booth don't do a great job of anymore. But, you know, I feel like if there was one commentator who I'd try to like be a bit like, is I'd like to be kind of like a cross between Darrell Waltrip and like Larry McReynolds, just because I feel like Larry McReynolds has a lot of, and Darrell Waltrip had a lot of knowledge, but also had a lot of energy and some sort of goofiness. Okay, and then it's like a go-kart track at an amusement park. I mean, I love the go-kart tracks at the amusement parks. So those are like some of the best things ever, except they costed way too much money. But like, still, that was when I got to be a NASCAR driver for like 5 minutes at the cost of like $30. Oh, that is pretty stupid, Ball GB. Yeah, I don't have track pass. I do have Flow Racing, but obviously that doesn't really cover NASCAR stuff. But Kurt, well, here, Cage King Kurt did not have a great lap, but he was the first car to roll off, and essentially all the first 5 cars that went are in like the bottom 5 spots. The track was not like warmed up at all. The tires were super cold. Like nobody really knew what to expect. So he's going to be in a really tough spot going into his heat race. I think overall he's third to last. So he's probably going to be starting last in his heat. So he's going to really have to make up some ground in his heat race to have any shot at getting in the heat race, if not have to pull something off in the last chance qualifier. Also, I appreciate everybody watching, nearly 300 of you guys and 122 likes. So if we can get a couple more likes, I'd appreciate it. And we got Bell, and he messed up big time in turns 1 and 2. So he's going to go last overall. Let's see if he can improve in his second lap. He made a big mistake on lap 1. Let's see if he can correct it. He's a pretty good short track racer, more so on dirt than on pavement. But this second lap's looking a lot better. He's going to go near the front for sure. And he's going up to P9. So not that close, but still a pretty big improvement from P24. Well, it's 65 miles per hour. I mean, guys, people I feel like are complaining too much about this. I mean, it's not necessarily about the speeds. It's just about the racing. It's about the environment. It's an exhibition race, guys. We got to chill. It's not the championship decider here. Okay, we got Ross Chastain out on track in his first race for his brand new team, Trackhouse Racing. Daniel Suarez showed pace. He went P3 overall. Can Chastain compare? He had a pretty turns 1 and 2 similar to Bell. So that first lap was nowhere near where he wanted it to be. Can he improve on the second lap? He did not have pace in practice. Will he improve for qualifying? And he's going to go P24. So that was another not great lap for Ross Chastain. So he's definitely not found the right setup so far. Like he's still searching out there for something. So the 1 car is not where it needs to be, but the 99 car definitely looking pretty solid. So Trackhouse is a tale of 2 different stories so far. Okay, now we got William Byron out here in the Valvoline car. Looks pretty cool. It's similar to his Neil Bonnet scheme, I feel like, from last year's throwback. And on his first lap, it's not looking too great, but the second lap has been the better lap for everybody who's gone so far. The first lap puts him P25 overall. Can he improve here? Oh, he's in the green for a split second, but now he's dropped back to about in the top 10 still. Now through turns 3 and 4, off corner exit, he's going to go, it looks like P7. So a solid run there from William Byron. Appreciate you guys watching. Almost 135 likes, guys. Can we hit 150? That'd be a huge number to hit. And I really appreciate everybody watching. Like, this is way more than I ever anticipated. I was hoping for 20 likes. Yeah, it's 89 Catherine Hamilton. That's how I'd say it. It's short track mayhem that we should enjoy for what it is. I know it's going to be like Martinsville, but like on steroids. Everybody's going to turn into Dale Earnhardt, or everybody's going to have to if they want to pass anybody, because they're going to have to bump everybody out of the way. So Kyle Busch on his first lap goes P21 overall. Let's see how he improves on the second lap. Right now, it looks like he's right up there near the front. It says currently he's in second overall, but can he get a good exit off turns 3 and 4? And yes, he will. Almost goes pole. Yes, he will. Kyle Busch at the top of the leaderboards. I think he was in the top 5 in practice. So he showed pace in practice, and he has got pace here. And he's the first car to get into the 13.7s. Oh, tomorrow night's going to be so great. I'm going to be commentating the whole thing. So if any guys want to tune in and see my reactions, I appreciate it. But almost 300 people watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And almost 150 likes. And Joey Logano's on track. He did not have great pace in practice. So we'll have to see if he makes an improvement, the big step up to qualifying. And he's looking to have a decent lap over on the first lap. He goes P10 overall, which is way better than what he was doing in practice. He's really looking like he's fighting his steering wheel, though, but he's looking pretty good here. He goes into the green. Oh, but he really spun the tires off corner exit. Still goes P4. That is a huge improvement for that team. They were nowhere near that in practice. They're like P30 or P31, I think. Or no, P26. That's what it was. But guys, so basically the top four will all be on pole for their heat race. So it's really the top four are all on pole, not number one. Okay, Ryan Blaney's out on track. He was the fastest Penske car. Let's see how he does. Can he beat his teammate Logano? And his first lap isn't looking too great, but everybody's been improving on the second lap, like I've been saying. And he goes P18 on his first lap. Can he really roll the center on the second lap? He goes into the green for a second there. He was really looking pretty fast here. Says he's going to be third overall, fourth, fifth. Oh, he goes into the green again, but loses it a bit off corner exit, similar to his teammate Joey Logano, and he's going to fall all the way back to 11th. He went from being in the green to dropping back like a tenth and a half, so, or almost 2/10. Oh, and it looks like he missed the turn in for the infield. He is going to have to reverse it up a little bit there. That's pretty funny. Real short track racing at its finest. Yeah, that's how you say it, Gas Gunner. You will hear a lot of crying out. Someone, Kyle Busch, gets bumped out of the way and passed. I don't know. I mean, it's whoever it is. I mean, Jeffrey Hancock, Rusty would own a track like this. I mean, yeah, it's NASCAR fan. That's exactly how it started in the chat. Austin Cindric in his first run for Penske as a rookie. He did not have great pace in practice either. Can he make the step up like all of his teammates? Right now, all the Penske cars are in the top 11, so let's see how he goes. First lap really spins the tires, so he's all the way back in P30 still, but second lap's been faster for everybody. Let's see how he does. And off corner exit, he's going to go P17 overall, so not the greatest lap, but could be quite a bit worse. But yeah, basically, guys, if you want me to break it down for you, 1 through 4, I don't know if the field will start first in their heat race. 5th through 8th will start second in their heat race. 9th through 12th will start third. 13th through 16th, fourth, etc., etc. Okay, we got Kevin Harvick, who's really fast in practice. Now he's on track. Only 5 more guys left. How's the 4 car going to do? At the stripe, I believe this starts his first lap. And now through turns 3 and 4. On his first lap, he only goes P27, but he'll probably improve on the second. He's really fighting his steering wheel more than some of the other guys is what I'm noticing. He definitely doesn't seem to be as comfortable with the car as he was in practice. And off corner exit, he's only going to go P20. So that's not where Kevin Harvick wants to be after he was P2 in practice. So it definitely looks like in terms of the qualifying runs, the Stewart-Haas Fords really haven't been near as good as they were in practice. And here comes Chase Elliott. Only 3 more cars after him. He was fastest in practice. Let's see, can he be the fastest in qualifying? Will he take the pole? And here he comes. Let's see how he does on his first lap. Oops, sorry about that. Appreciate you guys watching. Over 150 likes. I'm loving it. I hope you're loving it too. And he goes. Oh, I thought he. Never mind. He's in the green. It looks like he'll be in the top 10 for sure. Off corner exit. He's in the green again. And at the line, he's going to go back to P7. So ahead of his teammate Bowman and ahead of his teammate Byron. But not the pace he had in practice. To give you guys perspective how much slower the qualifying paces have been compared to practice, the fastest lap so far is over 0.3 slower than the fastest lap in practice. And Chase Elliott, who had the fastest lap in practice, his qualifying lap was a 0.5 second slower. And to give you guys a math perspective on like that amount of increase is like almost a 5% increase, or like probably 3 or 4% increase in lap time. So now we got Denny Hamlin, only 2 more cars after the FedEx car. And let's see how he does on his first lap. And on the first lap, he goes P30, but like I've been saying, the second lap's been faster for everyone. Will anybody be able to knock Kyle Busch off pole? Or I guess get into the top 4 and get onto pole for their heat race? Hamlin, not with a lot of great pace here either. I think something that I may be catching on to is guys who are fast in practice were fast in the sun, like during the day, but the guys who have been fast in qualifying have cars that are a bit more set up for the night. And that's what's going to matter, because that's when the actual race is going to be run, or at least the ending of that race most likely.
The cars that had a bigger arc on entry were definitely looser getting into the corner. I know you saw that.
Yeah, I plan on trying to be pretty shallow.
Yep.
Okay, we got Martin Truex Jr. coming up to make his run. Only 1 more car after him, and that'll be Kyle Larson. 2 cars left. Can they knock Kyle Busch, Reddick, Haley, or Logano off one of the pole spots for one of the heat races? Martin Truex on his first lap, obviously in the red, but like I've been saying, everybody improves on the second lap. Okay, his first lap, he goes 35th overall, which is the slowest he possibly could. He did not have pace in practice, guys. He was one of the worst cars overall in practice, so anything in the top 30 would be better than what he had. And he goes P33. I think Martin Truex Jr. could be, for certain, a big name that does not make the big show. So that's, I mean, he could be he's probably going to be the guy who gets the free, because there's one spot that's given to the highest remaining car, the car that finished highest in owner points in 2021, and Truex may probably end up getting that spot. Anyways, here comes Larson. Okay. Let's see how he goes. Oh, he really locks it there.
Off of 2 here, off of 2.
He's locking it up like crazy.
P8 with a 95.
He goes P25 on the first lap. On the second lap, can he improve? Here comes Larson through turns 3 and 4. If he can get into the top 4, he'll go on pole for one of the heat races. And at the stripe, he's going to go P8.
Okay.
So just behind his teammate, Elliott, by 3 1/1000ths. But that'll put Kyle Busch, Reddick, Haley, and Logano on pole for the 4 heat races. And then the guys starting on the outside of row 1 will be Suarez, Custer, Elliott, and Larson. So that is qualifying from the LA Coliseum. And guys, we'll be back at 3 o'clock tomorrow with the first of the 4 heat races and the 2 last chance qualifiers. And I'm so hyped. And why am I not showing it? Because I don't want to get sued. It's like literally a legal thing. That's why I'm commentating. Jimmy Jackpot, P8. Yep, solid run for Larson. Justin Haley is P3 act. All the Kyle fans going crazy. Yeah, Landon Castle got a top 20. So here, I'm going to run through the order, and then I'll run through it again in terms of like where they'll be starting in their heat race. So Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, Justin Haley, Logano, Suarez rounds out the top 5. Custer, Elliott, Larson, Stenhouse, Burton round out the top 10. Then you got Byron, McDowell, Blaney, Bowman, Bell, 15th. And then you got Landon Castle, Hamlin, Bubba, Dinger, Cendric round out the top 20. Then you got Almirola, Dillon, Harvick, Jones, McLeod, round out the top 25. And pretty much all these guys and onward are going to be really having to make up some ground in their heat race. You got Briscoe, Busher, Priest, Gilliland, Keselowski, LaJoy, Busch, Chastain, Truex, Cody Ware, and Ty Dillon rounding out the field. And now in terms of where they'll be starting in their heat race, you'll have Kyle Busch on pole for his heat race, Reddick on pole, Haley on pole, Logano on pole. And then you'll have Suarez on the outside of row 1 and P2, Custer P2, Elliott P2, Larson P2. Then you got Stenhouse, Burton, Byron, McDowell will all be starting P3 in their heat races. And then Blaney, Bowman, Bell, and Castle will be starting P4 in their heat races. And the top 4 in the heat races are the spots that get locked in to the main event and don't have to race their way in the last chance qualifier. And then the guys starting in P5 in their heat races will be Hamlin, Wallace, the Dinger, Cendric. And then you got Almirola, Dillon, Harvick, Jones will be starting P6. And then you got McLeod, Briscoe, Busher, Priest will be starting P7. Then you got Gilliland, Keselowski, LaJoy, Busch, Kurt Busch starting P8 in their heats. And then the guys starting last in their heats will be Chastain, Truex, Ware, and Dillon. But yeah, I appreciate everybody who's been watching. Yeah, let's go Bowman T-Bay Gaming. I'm rooting for Castle. So am I, Mr. J Perfect. But yeah, before I get off, I'm just going to remind you that you guys can have a shot to win the 2022 Daytona 500 124 diecast or 124th scale diecast for free on my Instagram page at Freeman Diecast. You can enter pretty simply, but you just got to go to my diecast page or my Instagram page, which there's a link to in the description, or just look up Freeman Diecast on Instagram, FREEMANDIECAST. Have a nice day, guys, and I hope to see you guys maybe for one of my other streams this weekend for the other big events going on. It was a great time hanging out with y'all, and yeah. Over 165 likes, guys. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in. How big's the track? 1/4 a mile. I'll be staying on for just a couple more minutes, though, for anybody who has to ask any questions about the specifics of this weekend. Adventures with K-Trains. Good to see you back. Bye. Have a good one. Yeah, so it's 1/4, or the equivalent of like your local track that goes around a football field. To give you perspective, Jamie McMurray was able to run a lap around there in basically under a minute. And probably I could easily run a lap around there in under a minute. No problem, David Ingy. Hi, Devin Myers. And guys, thank you for all who've tuned in. We just hit 10,000 playbacks on the day. So yeah, guys, just so you know, for the heat races, and when you're watching tomorrow, the top 4 in the heat races get locked in, and all the other guys in the heat race will have to race in a last chance qualifier, and in the 2 last chance qualifiers, so each one will have 10 cars. The top 3 get in. But let's say our favorite drivers, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, and they don't make their way in the last chance qualifier or their heat race. The highest, the car that finished highest in owner points in 2021 that doesn't make the finale will get a spot locked in. So that could be Martin Truex Jr. as long as Kyle Larson makes the finale. So basically, the only guy locked in is Kyle Larson. And whoever was saying that it was going to be all Chevys on pole for the heat races wasn't quite correct. You got a Ford, 2 Chevys, and a Ford, 2 Chevys, and a Toyota. Oh, you have a couple. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying here, guys, but I think the heat races are going to be really interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how much guys want to push the limit. I think we're really going to see guys push the limit in the last chance qualifiers more so than the heat races, but I think the most action of the night will happen in last chance qualifier rather than the main event, because those are going to be guys just desperate to make the show. But I definitely think we're going to see some runs for the lead during the big show on Sunday night. Man, I wish I was there. That'd just be so cool. Love your energy. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for watching, Texhale. I love to see any of you guys are in the chat. I love to see it. I love to see your names pop up in the chat sometime again soon, as long as you're spreading positivity and NASCAR knowledge. Mr. J Perfect, I'm very surprised that underdog teams got decent qualifying and did great in practice. Mr. J Perfect, that is because of the next gen car, or well, that's what most likely because of the next gen car is making the field a bit more even, at least per se, because there are a lot more parts that everybody has. So I guess what's the correct word? I don't want to say stock parts, but everybody's working with the same chassis. So rather than people developing their own chassis and being able to put more money into that and developing a faster one, everybody's working with the same one. So that'll probably make it a bit more tighter field. Mr. J Perfect, 23 for the Clash. Not 24, so just 23. But like honestly, like I mean, and it was really showing the closer field. I mean, not so much in qualifying. I mean, I guess you still saw guys like Justin Haley near the front, but like yeah, like Justin Haley, Landon Castle, even the Rick Ware cars were both in the top 15 in practice, and they showed decent pace in qualifying. I think wait, let's see where the Rick Ware cars were. Okay, I take that back. Ryan Preece was 28 and Cody Ware is 35th. So maybe they can make up ground in the heat races, but they showed pace in practice at least. But yeah, so I'm going to get off here in a couple more minutes if you guys don't have anything else to ask me. It's been a fun almost hour and a half. This was literally my most viewed live stream ever to start off the 2021 season. So how about that? I'm loving that. I'm loving all of you guys who are watching. 167 likes. Can we get to 169 likes? Just, for, no, I'm just joking. Dave Pazza, I totally agree with you on that statement, though. I actually anticipated that the next gen car wasn't going to bring the field together as much as they were predicting. And I think the field is closer now at the beginning of the season than it was obviously last year at the end of the season. But that has a lot more to do with, I think, just it being a new car and people not understanding it. So I think, yeah, by the end of the season, or at least by next season, the teams that were good in 2021 will be the teams that are good then. Where are the cars made? I actually don't know. I don't know who the the supplier is. Because I know like Dallara supplies, like F1. I'm looking that up right now, actually. Okay, not that. Okay, looking at the chassis, we'll say. And it doesn't say. I can't find who makes the chassis, but it's just probably some. I don't think it's any of the teams. Like I don't think it's Hendrick. I think it's just some supplier like Dallara or somebody. But if McDowell goes back to back in the 500, I would actually lose my mind. I'd be going so crazy. I'd be like laughing, like hilarious. That'd be so funny, and that'd be so cool too. I mean, him going back to back in the 500 is possible. I'm really I think the duels will give us a good hint at what the racing is going to be like in the 500. Obviously, it won't be as intense, but I don't think the pack racing will be the same. But if it's still like, there can still be a lot of big runs generated where cars can go, from 4 car lengths behind the leader to be blasting past them in one straightaway, then I think it's still, a wide open race. I mean, anybody can, win the race as long as they get that right run at the right time. Yeah, so Teams assemble cars from NASCAR, approved parts, multiple suppliers. Well, there are multiple suppliers for certain parts, but like the chassis, everybody's getting the same exact chassis. But yeah, there are a lot of other parts that, where they have a couple different options. Yeah, most first-time winners come from super speedways. Or I'd say first-time winners and only one-time ever winners. So that may be Michael McDowell right there. Even though I think Michael McDowell has some talent, especially on the road courses. But yeah, honestly, I'm so excited like that NASCAR's back. It's kind of just a bummer for me that like we got the Super Bowl next week and we can't just flow right into NASCAR season. But so be it. Hey, it gives the teams more time to build some next gen cars since they've been dealing with so many supplier issues. But I appreciate it if you've just subscribed for the first time tonight or just checking out the channel for the first time tonight. I noticed a lot of new names in the chat. Oh, Skis 963. Qualifying already ended. It just ended a couple minutes ago. But yeah, I was just commentating to it. But you can watch it. It's on FS1, or you could probably have watched it on Fubo or Hulu. Hulu is what I use. David Inge, how dare you say Bubba Waltrip? That's like a cursed name. Good evening, Jason Jacoby. Oh no, what does this mean? Oh, I forgot it's DW, or I don't know if it's his birthday today, but I know it's his birthday this week. Daryl Wallace. You know, it was DW's birthday the other day. DW, I was so sad when he left the booth. I mean, it's been like 4 years now, but like, or not 4. It was like maybe I can't even remember now, but like there's just something about his energy and his like goofy sayings. You know what I mean? I loved it. Like, I feel like Clint Boyer is similar, but I feel like Clint Boyer almost is like too funny or too out there. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of like I feel like DW was a nicer balance, but you'd like to see the 24 win Matthew Brown. I mean, I think this year, and not just this weekend, I think this year for the 24 car on Byron is going to be really interesting. Because he got that first win last year. He was really good. Like, he was really consistent, but he wasn't able to really break into the win column at all, other than that one race at Homestead earlier in the season. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get another win or two this year. And I mean, that's going to be critical because I think of the 4 guys right now, I feel like Byron would probably be like the most apt to leave, even though if I had to replace one, it would probably be Bowman, just because I feel like he doesn't have enough consistent pace. But like, I think him and Byron are pretty similar. Like, Byron doesn't have the wins that Bowman has, but he has the consistency. And then obviously Bowman's just the opposite of that. So I think Byron, if Byron doesn't break through for more than like 1 win a season for this year and next year, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up somewhere else, just because they're going to be good like drivers in the Chevrolet pipeline that are going to be coming up looking for a team. Rocket Science, when is the qualifying? It's already been run. So I'm just still talking after it ended. It was on FS1 though, for anybody wondering what channel, but the pole center was I say pole sitter, but it's going to be just determining the lineups for the heats tomorrow. So Kyle Busch, Reddick, Haley, and Logano will all be on pole for their respective heats tomorrow. And then Suarez, Custer, Elliott, Larson will be on the outside row for all their heats. And the way the heats work is the top 4 get into the big show, and then everybody else completes in a last chance qualifier, and the top 3 from the 2 last chance qualifiers get into the big show as well. RDC Autosports, it's not a go-kart track, but you could definitely run a go-kart on there. And you would possibly turn a faster lap time than the Cup cars. That's not me dissing this. I love this event. I love the idea. I think it's cool. It's an exhibition race. That's what these races are for. Like, try things new or try out new things because they don't really matter. Mr. J Perfect. Tony was great in the booth. I know. I'm so glad that he's in here for it. I think, is it just for this in the 500? I thought maybe he's in there for one more race after the 500, but I love to see him. I'd love to see Tony in the booth more often. I feel like he's, really educated, and he's also pretty funny. Like, he knows what he's talking about in terms of comes to this car, and he describes it well. I also really like Kurt Busch in the booth, but he can only do it for Xfinity races. Is Greg Biffle coming back? I don't know. There's a lot of rumors about that, but I don't think I think now it's too late, at least for the 500. I think we could see them doing another race this year. Like, the Money Team Racing is not just doing the 500. They're going to do 15 races this year, at least, is what they said. Specifically, I think they said like the plate tracks and road courses is what they're going to be trying out. I don't know if Kaz Grala is doing all 15 or not, but yeah, David NY Racing. Yeah, no, I think NY Racing could do something though, but I'm not certain. Oh, it's definitely the smallest track they're racing on, but it's definitely not the smallest out there. There are like 1/8 mile tracks out there, man, which is half the size of this. Oh, Derek Cope. Okay, makes sense. There you go. You heard it here first, folks, guys. You heard it here first. Biffle is driving the 500, then I'll be in the car at California. Okay, checks out. I'm just taking a picture of that. I'll post it social media and let it go viral. Nick, I can't pronounce the last name, but Nick, that number placement. I still don't love it, the number placement. I think honestly, it's really gonna hit me in things like diecast when I like see it, and it just looks so weird compared to the older diecast. But it's not the worst. I think it could be worse, but I mean, overall, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it's not that bad. It's definitely grown on me. At first, I hated it, and I still wouldn't say I love it, but RDC Autosports 3 Ace is the smallest you've ever ran. Yeah, the one that's there are two tracks that are right around me, and they're both 3 Ace. And one's 3 Ace, one's 3 Ace, and then I have another track near me that's a half mile. Yeah, half mile. Riley Jordan, you want to see 2311 Racing win some races? I would love to see Kurt get in victory lane. Kurt's one of my favorite drivers. I don't know though. I think this year is going to be really interesting because I think we'll have to see how Kurt does in that equipment, because I feel like Kurt has really been able to get the most out of his equipment at Ganassi, and we'll have to see if he's able to get the most out of that 23XI equipment. But I do have to say, I think Kurt's definitely getting towards the end of his career. Like, I would not be surprised if he retires at the end of 2023. I don't see him driving past like 2025. Does my picture look me Jimmy Spencer? Does my picture make me look fat? I can hardly tell, honestly. It's so small on my screen. I honestly can't believe it. We have like an all-time goat in our chat right here, Derek Cope. Like, I mean, talk about a goat. Yeah, I'm putting a poll in the chat really quick. There's only one right answer to this poll. There's literally only one right answer to this poll I'm putting in the chat. Wait, I just want to make sure it went there. There's only one right answer to that poll, guys. You know what it is. I appreciate everybody watching right now, but just so you guys know, if you're new to this channel, basically what I do is I commentate the races, and something I'm also going to be doing is on on Thursdays, evenings, I'll be doing what I'm going to be is called a weekend preview, which will be about a 30-minute to maybe an hour live stream where I basically just talk about my predictions for this weekend with you guys. And then I'll obviously live stream the race, and occasionally maybe I'll live stream qualifying, and occasionally maybe live stream an Xfinity Series race. And then on Mondays in the evenings, I'll be basically doing my weekend reaction where I'll be just live streaming and we can talk about our thoughts about the race, things like that, and also kind of talk about predictions or points and things like that, because obviously points won't matter that much at the beginning of the season. But yes, everybody does. Derek Cope win the 2022 Daytona 500. Everybody knows the right answer, but he's just holding out in front by 56 to 44% lead. Oh my gosh. How do you think Brad in the 6 car will do? Okay. I want him to do good. I don't think he will do that much better than what they did last year, but I do want Brad to do good. Also, if you guys want to basically get any sort of Brad 164 diecast from last year for $5, you can get them for $5 from the Team Penske store. And almost every single shirt and hat that Brad had for sale last year in terms of merchandise is on sale for $10 or less on the Team Penske website. And so I picked up 2 shirts and a couple of die-casts of his from last year. And the 124s are, I believe, on sale for $45. So that's not a terrible deal, but it's not like as good as the other deals, I'd say. Jimmy Spencer, too many Big Macs. Here, I'm going to end this poll, and I'll put up another one that has to do with how does Brad K. Here, I'll just do this. Does Brad K. make the playoffs this year? Brad K. make playoffs. I feel like something that kind of got slightly overlooked in this offseason is the 23XI second charter. And I think that's because they got that kind of earlier on, and so many other teams started to shuffle charters drivers. Like you had Trackhouse all of a sudden change. I mean, we knew about them buying out Ganassi, but like I feel like Trackhouse is big news. And you have obviously RFK was like a big one. I feel like that's been kind of overshadowed. I'm trying to put up this poll, man. Okay, so now this pulls up. Guys, don't even question if Derek Cope is the real Derek Cope. He is. Okay, guys. Jimmy Spencer, how's it going, sir? Want to start a new team with me? Imagine that. Cope Spencer Racing. Or what do we call it? CS or SC? Or you call it Jerry and Derek's? JD's? I feel like I think he could make the playoffs. I definitely think, unless we get a lot of surprise winners like last year from way below the cutoff line, I think the bubble battle could be really, really good this year. Like you have so many teams that we don't know about, like the Trackhouse cars, the 23XI cars, the RFKs, the honestly, just all those teams I just named right there. And then also, like, we're going to see, and then the Stewart-Haas team, like, how do they rebound from last year? And, like, does Cendric make the playoffs as a rookie? We have not seen a rookie really do well in the playoffs. And, like, well, Bell did all right oh, wait, no, Bell wasn't a rookie, though. Yeah, we haven't seen a rookie do well in the playoffs. And, like, I actually can't even remember when, like, probably 3 years. So, guys, we're almost at 200 likes. I know there's not that many people watching anymore, and if you already if you're watching right now, you've probably dropped a like. But I'd appreciate it if you drop a like. We can imagine if we hit 200. That was, I know it's already probably hit any stream record that I had, with 188. But I'm trying to see what's my most likes. Like, to give a guy's perspective, my live streams never have done that great. Like, Well, they've done good, but I'd say never over like 35 or so. But yeah, okay. Literally, I think my 83 was I think 83 may be the highest I've ever had on a live stream, guys. So just to get you guys have broken that by over 100. So I really do appreciate it so much, everybody who's watched. But yeah, hopefully that's a good sign for this 2022 season. It's going to be hard for the open teams. What do you mean by that? I think, well, yes, actually, you're referring to the supply chain issues. I do think we're going to have to see a car to have serious issues in terms of the West Coast swing. Like I think we could see a car crashing out in 2 races on the West Coast swing and need a third backup car and not have it. And they're probably going to end up having, as long as it's one of the bigger teams, they'll just have to use one of their teammates' cars. So I like, that's what I anticipate. So, but if it's one of the smaller teams, I mean, they may just have to pull out for a week. Huh. David Ingy Cope, you'll win if the leader gets a flat on the last lap. Yep, that's true. That's very true. Well, wait, though. He didn't win when Larson got a flat on the last lap of the Pocono race. So, I don't know. I guess your argument's void now, David Ingy. If you could pick any past driver to be in the Clash, who would it be? I'll say Tony Stewart. I could say Dale Earnhardt, but I'll say Tony Stewart. I think it would just be so fun. He would get so mad, and it would be so great. David Ingy, no, I'm not in LA Cali. I'm not even close. Not even close. Harvick only has 1 Daytona car. I think some people are overreacting. Like he's definitely could be in some issues, but I mean, okay, none of the big teams are going to miss the 500. They're not. If it takes them making their Clash car, their 500 car, they'll do that. But there's no way that any of these big teams are missing the 500. So, and I honestly don't see, I think everybody is going to play it really, really chill in the duels. Like, I don't think we're going to see hardly any intensity in the duels. I think other than the guys who are racing to get into the 500, like the open cars. So, I mean, that may be totally wrong, but I don't think you're going to see anybody making too bold of moves in the duels, just because they don't want to risk tearing up equipment. But I'm not even really thinking about Daytona. I'm more so thinking about the West Coast swing that follows, where you have like 3 or 4 races on the West Coast, and like you're literally thousands of miles away from the shops. So if you wreck 2 cars, not only are you like, you may only have 2 or 3 cars in your shop total, like you don't have another car to use on the West Coast. They could use a Clash car. Like that's what I'm saying. Is like they'd have to make a lot of adjustments. They may not be competitive in the actual race, but I mean, if that's what it comes to, they'll do that. Appreciate it, guys. We're only 6 likes away from 190, from 200. We're at 194. If we can hit 200, I would love it. I'm trying not to be too like greedy, but yeah, over 12,000 viewers on the day, guys. So this actually may be my most viewed video on this channel. I'd say my most viewed real video, because I got a clip of Kyle Busch's Bristol intro from last year that has like over 10,000, and that was hilarious when that happened. And that just blew up for whatever reason. This is literally going to be my most viewed video. So I appreciate everybody who's watched and been able to make that happen. At 196, only 4 away. I'm going to turn it off at 200 likes or 10 o'clock. So whichever comes first. So, oh God, I'm so stiff. I'm sitting in this chair, but I hope someone flips in the 2022 season. I just hope we have good super speedway racing is all I care about, ladies and gents. And I hope there's a good races at Dover and Watkins Glen, because that's the 2 races I'll be at. And like the chat, you guys have all voted on the 2022 playoffs if Brad will make it or not, and it's 63 to 37% in favor of Brad making the playoffs. And I just subscribed. MBR, shout out to you. Okay, I've actually gotten nearly 50 new subscribers during this live stream, so just shout out to every single one of you guys. Like, this is literally like my most record-setting stream I've ever had, and this has been like also one of the most fun nights I've had in a long time. Like, I feel I have like, there's nobody who likes NASCAR. Or I have like 3 or 4 NASCAR friends in my life from day to day. So to like be able to talk with you guys in the chat about NASCAR is just so great. Mario Cup Series 27 also just subbed. Shout out to you. 200 likes now. Let's go. 203. Cannot be stopped. Cannot be stopped. This is gonna be like the most like biggest stream of the entire year, and it's gonna be like the very first one. Like I'm just joking. But yeah, Brad is one of my favorites. I also like Brad. He's definitely grown on me. And I think I'm starting to like some of the more older guys in the sport, kind of like because I feel like they're kind of standing up against some like the NASCAR headquarters guys who are kind of trying to shun the drivers' voices and just make it all about entertainment, and like they're kind of standing up for the drivers as like a committee, I guess. Eric and Coco Sluss just subscribed. I appreciate it. Let's go. Yeah, we're 205, guys. 205. Cannot be stopped. We're going to 300. No, I'm joking. That would take forever. I'd have to like just live stream for the next 24 hours probably. You're rooting for Cendric this year. I'm starting to root for Cendric as well, just because I've been following him on Instagram. His stories are hilarious. Like, he just has a good sense of humor. He really seems to like all sports and motorsports. Like, he did the Rolex 24. And he won the very first race I was at, which was the Dover Spring Xfinity Series race last year, and I will be there again. So he won that race, and what was really cool about that race actually was there's a red flag, because there's that weird crash on the back straightaway, if any of you guys know what I'm talking about, where like a car like got backed up on top of another, and they had a red flag, and all the cars parked on the front stretch right in front of the grandstands. You could just literally walk up, and I was standing in front of his car, and we were like yelling like, "Yo, Cendric!" And then he like turned his head like this much and like waved, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh!" Simply Shelby TV, you're going to Kyle and Chase. Those are good picks. All my friends think that NASCAR is boring. I know. That's just these guys. I don't know what it is, man. NASCAR is great. NASCAR is life. NASCAR is love. Okay, now that's kind of weird. But at least they can't use the old, but they only turn left anymore. I know. There's so many people who still hardly even know that NASCAR does road courses. And I'm just like, can you shut up? Like, we do like 7 a year. Support local tracks. More fun, not boring. Oh, yeah. No, I love going to my local track. I don't want to sound like weird, but like I like to ride my bike a ton. So there's a local track that's like 25 miles from my house, and in the summer I like rode my bike out there like 5 times, and it's just, that's not like something like that was like I'm like, biking's the thing I do, so it wasn't that bad. But I mean, I love going out to my local track every Friday, and it's just a fun thing to do. And the World of Outlaws was at my local track last year, and oh my gosh, this is the first time I ever saw World of Outlaws. I would recommend going to World of Outlaws 110%, and make sure you get a pit pass, because so at the World of Outlaws event I was at, it was $35 for a ticket and $45 for a pit pass. So you only had to pay an extra $10 to get a pit pass. I got a pit pass. You literally can just walk up and touch any of these cars. Like, you literally can just walk around. Like, I was just walking around, like, and just like literally, I just like would like be standing next to like Donnie Schatz, like right there. Like, it was just like, you're so connected. It was great. Caden S35 just subscribed. Shout out to you. Good night, Eric and Choco Sluss. I'm also just going to be getting off here in a second. I did say I was going to get off at 200. I'm sorry. I just love to keeping the vibe alive with you guys. What's your schedule again? Stream qualifying races recap. Okay, so yeah, my schedule MBR is for regular weekend. It'll be a bit different for the 500 because there's the duels and I won't be doing the actual race. But on a normal weekend, Thursday at 7 o'clock, I'll do the weekend preview, which will basically just me kind of going live for about a half hour or so, doing my predictions for the weekend, talking about points a little bit, things like that. And we can be talking about more things than just NASCAR, like Formula One, Xfinity Series, MotoGP, whatever the heck, IndyCar, anything that's big coming up that weekend. And then I won't always be doing qualifying. I'll probably do it for like the 500 or a race where there'll be cars that are going to get bumped. So if we have like more than 40 cars on the entry list, which probably won't really ever happen, or like for maybe one of like if it's like raining at a road course and we're going to have rain qualifying, like that's crazy. But in general, I won't have qualifying. And occasionally I'll do an Xfinity Series race if I'm off work. And then Sundays, I'll always be doing the race. And on Mondays at 7 o'clock, I'll be doing the weekend recap, which is basically a live stream, pretty similar to the Thursday live stream. But instead of doing predictions, we're just kind of reflecting on the weekend and kind of talking about the big things that happened, any controversies, things like that. Yep, NASCAR is life. I go to track about 45 minutes away to watch lots of dirt racing. Yeah, I got a dirt track that's 45 minutes away from me, and then I got a concrete oval that's 30 minutes away from me, but it's got a drag strip right next to it, and it's a bit more drag racing than oval racing, so I don't often go there because there's more drags than oval. And then there's a paved half mile that's about close to an hour, or no, probably like 45 minutes away from me, but it's a bit out of shape. It was actually a track that the Wayland Toured Modifieds used to go to somewhat. Like it was a big track back probably like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, but it's COVID really, really hurt that facility. And so they only have like 2 or 3 races a year now, but there's still huge events. Like they sell out the entire crowd, and like it's like a big track. Like there are big grandstands, but it's in pretty bad conditions now because they just don't have the like the track was just bought last year, so things are going to be probably going on the uptick there. And also the dirt track that's near me is or it's not now, it was sold a year ago, but Stuart Friesen, he owned that track for like 10 years, and he still races there like somewhat relatively. Like Stuart Friesen loves to race at dirt tracks. Which team will surprise the most this year? Okay. Okay, in terms of a single individual car, I'm probably going to go with Tyler Reddick. Even though I think a lot of people are thinking he's going to make a big step up, I think he's going to make a big step up. But then as a team as a whole, I think Colleague or Spire, even though they may not make the playoffs, either of those teams, I think both those teams are going to be very competitive this year, or more competitive than they've ever been. So Simply Shelby TV subscribed. Shout out to you. So yeah, I would say that's not necessarily that they'll be great, but I think Spire and Colleague are going to be a lot better this year than they've ever been before. Who do you think will be the best of the Hendrick team and Team JGR? I think it's still too early to tell. I think in terms of Hendrick, I think it's definitely either Larson or Elliott. I would say Larson for sure, but the only reason I don't say Larson for sure is Elliott has such a good handling for the road courses that, and this car is a bit more suited to that driving style, that may favor him over Larson. I think their battle is going to be very close throughout this year, though, the 5 and the 9. And I think that Byron and Bowman are both quality drivers, but unless they take massive steps up, I really just don't see them being on that same competitive level as Elliott and Larson. And then in terms of JGR, I would probably say, in terms of JGR, I would say it's pretty wide open. I would say, in terms of my predictions, I would have to say Hamlin is going to be the best on that team again. I think all of those 4 cars, though, contend for wins like pretty much on a weekly basis. but I'd probably give the edge to Hamlin slightly. But I do think Truex will also be pretty good. And I think Bell can take another step up this year and be pretty competitive. And it may be weird to say this, but I think Kyle Busch may be the least competitive of any of those cars. But I think there's no way Kyle Busch doesn't win a race. So that's going to, that there basically is my way of just saying that the JGR team has quite a bit of talent. And I would say almost more so, probably more so than the Hendrick roster, even though I think like Larson's probably the most talented driver in the field right now. Sorry, Isaac. Haley is racing full time. He's making his rookie season in the 31 car. What's up, Jerusalem Espraza? I'm sorry if I butchered that. But anyways, we're just talking after qualifying, having a great time. So Martin Truex Jr., I would say he is going to be very lucky because my prediction for this race is that Martin Truex Jr. is not going to make he's not going to make the Clash. But because the way the Clash works is the car that finished highest in owner points in 2021 that does not qualify in through the heat races or last chance qualifier gets in. I think that is going to be Martin Truex Jr. He has had no pace. He is going to be in last in his heat, I believe, or on second to last in his heat. He qualified. Yeah, he'll be last. He qualified 34th. In practice, he was 31st. He definitely does not have pace. So, yeah, Larson will drive anything. So, yeah, no, but I am super excited for tomorrow, guys. I'm going to be getting off here in a second. And oh, wait. So I'm just going to answer a couple more of these questions. MBR, who surprised and was slow in qualifying? I think the biggest surprise has to be, in terms of a good sign, Justin Haley being on pole and maybe Daniel Suarez being P2 in his heat, and also showing both those guys showed pace in their heat race in practice. But then in terms of surprise, in terms of a not good surprise, would definitely be Martin Truex Jr. and probably RFK, because both RFK cars were slow in practice and qualifying. There were a couple guys that didn't do great in practice or didn't do good in qualifying, but most of those guys either did really well in practice or did really well in qualifying. So like Kevin Harvick P23 in qualifying, but was P2 in practice. So, and then on the other hand, you have like Joey Logano P4 in qualifying, but like P26 in practice. So I'm just so excited for tomorrow, guys. I hope some of you guys decide to turn up for tomorrow. Be pretty much the same exact thing as this. Just except we're going to be commentating the racing, and I'm probably going to lose my voice because there's going to be a lot more action than just single car qualifying. RFK on race setup. Yeah, well, David, are you saying they're trying to get tuned for the race? I don't know though, because even in qualifying, like, well, here's what there are a lot. Yeah, this is what I'd say. MBR, I agree with what you just said there. Lots of slow Fords. Just in general, like the Penske cars kind of got righted the ship a bit for qualifying, but a lot of the Stewart-Haas cars didn't do so hot in qualifying, but were decent in practice. Yeah, I think right now, so far, the Fords are looking a bit sluggish. I would definitely say the strongest overall seem to be the Chevys, and then Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is up at the top of the leaderboard in practice, and he was on pole for the qualifying. But then other than that, like you look here, Logano and Custer and Burton in the top 10, but then you got 6 Chevys, and then you got a couple Fords back here. I do have to say, the front row motorsports cars have some decent pace, it looks like. Mike McDowell qualified P12. Gilliland didn't do as hot, but he showed, like, he was, I think, P10 in practice. So here's something I would recommend, though. If you're a betting man, I would put $5 or $10 on Landon Castle just as an underdog pick. He showed pace. He showed decent pace in qualifying, P16. So not great, but not bad by all means. And then practice, he was, I believe, P7 or P8 overall, and he is a very accomplished short track racer. And with 1,000-to-1 odds, you put $5 on him and you win. That's $5,000. I'm just saying that right there. If I were a betting man. To be honest, Harvick was never great at qualifying. Yeah, I mean, Harvick's going to be using the bumper a lot in the heat races and in the main event tomorrow. I have the feeling. And why I say in the heat races and the main event, even though he qualified P23, is because he is making the main event. I think in terms of big names that are going to miss the main event, I would say people in jeopardy are Mark Truex Jr., but I don't think that's going to happen. But I definitely say Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, like, because these guys, they have to make up a ton of track position to get in here. Maybe Eric Almirola, Austin Dillon, like Austin Cindric as a rookie. Denny Hamlin even, but I think Denny Hamlin would be all right. I think Bowman could possibly miss it. Like, he's close to the cutoff. He's going to be starting in the cutoff spot in his heat race, and I could see somebody knocking him back, and then he gets knocked back in one of the last chance qualifiers. I think, and I will stand by this, that the last chance qualifiers will be the most entertaining part of tomorrow, because that's when guys are going to be really pushing the limit. I think you'll see some really cool stuff in the main event, but I think people are going to be pushing it even harder in the last chance qualifier just to get into the race. Yeah, okay, I agree with what you're saying there, David Ingy. Celeste Hayden, just want to say thank you before you sign off. Really enjoyed info from your questions and responses. Yep, no problem. This is a great time. Okay, my mic's getting loose. Trying to make sure it's all tightened up there. Yeah, guys. So, and with that, right now we're at 1,666 subscribers. So that's a nice little number there. Okay, I take that back. Yeah, guys, appreciate 215 likes. That's a new record. Nearly 14,000 playbacks. That's a new record. Everything in here is new records. So tomorrow during the heat races and everything, I'll be live. I'll be going crazy. I'll be bringing the energy. I'll be hopefully bringing my voice still. And yep, I'm going to sign off now, guys. I'm out. I appreciate everybody who tuned in, and I hope to see you guys again sometime soon. That's all for now. See you in the next one.